Hi everyone, Phil from Tech for Techs here. Today I'm going to be looking at this keyboard from Marvo. It's a full-size multimedia mechanical gaming keyboard with RGB. We do have buying links in the description just below if you're interested in purchasing. And again, this is the KG965G. Before we go on to the main video, if you would do us a favour, click that like button, subscribe, click the bell as well. And that way you'll get notifications of new videos and live streams we do. Again, doing all these things helps support the channel, and helping to support the channel allows us to release more videos, better quality videos, and more content exclusively just for you. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the Marvo mechanical KG965G gaming keyboard. As it says there, it's got blue switches. It doesn't specify what type of blue switches, so I don't know if they're Grattan, Cherry or whatever. More than likely it's going to be some unbranded or cheaper version. Very unlikely I'd find it to be Cherry or anything like that. It does say driver programmable, which basically means there is software you can download to do macros and change colours and bits and bobs. We'll take a closer look at that in a few minutes. And then we've got multimedia features as well, or functions. So there at the top it looks like for sound, volume and stuff like that. The box is pretty clear, otherwise it's black with a nice keyboard on there. You can see it all lit up, and it does say in the documentation it comes with 10 preloaded like colour cycles that you can actually use on there. On the top of the box it just says Pro Gaming, because this is one of their Pro range of keyboards. On the back it does say mechanical KG965G gaming keyboard again. Tells you about the mechanical switches on the back here. Then you've got seamless gaming and individually backed RGB lights or keys, so that's always good. It also has 2 USB inputs as well on the back of the keyboard apparently, so those would be ideal for charging smartphones, tablets, stuff like that, or you could use it as a pass-through like a mini USB hub for your computer. So that's pretty good. The number of keys, there is 112 keys. As I said, it is a mechanical blue switches, but they don't specify what type. It's got 10 million click switch rating. Obviously, as we know, it's RGB. It is a USB 2.0 connection. The cable length is 1.5 meters long, and it will work on Windows 7 or newer. Okay, first of all, before I go through everything what's inside the box, the actual switch is Otemo blue switches. So I did say earlier on I didn't know what they were, found out hidden on the website. It is Otemo blue switches on this one, so which are generally the most common switches you usually get, especially on lower cost devices, which are usually under the £100 mark. But anyway, first of all, the box itself is more like a sleeve with a box on the inside. It does look very professional looking, to be honest with you. You can see the nice Pro Gaming on there and everything. It does look pretty smart for a box. They've definitely gone out of the way and made it look pro. So inside the box we've also got quite a bit of plastic. Okay, it makes it look nice, but it is plastic. I don't know, maybe some sort of papery plastic, but it says born for gaming on there. Not really necessary, but it does make it look a bit nicer. It does have a bit of foam to protect it, which is good, as well as a plastic bag. But onto the manual. So we do have a manual. I suggest you keep hold of this because it does tell you which function keys you press to change your lighting and stuff like that. Also tells you about the software. Pictures aren't the clearest, they're a little dark, but you can just about make out what they are. You may need a magnifying glass if your eyesight's not the best, but it does tell you how to do all the options on there, and you've got more options on the other side as well, so that's good. You've also got the wrist rest as well, or palm rest, or whatever you want to call it here as well, which is detachable, so it just clips on if you want to on the bottom, so it just pushes in like that and away you go. We'll look at the keyboard a bit closer in a minute, but for a bonus, for those of you that like stickers, you've got a Marvo sticker there. Okay, so we've got the keyboard here. Let's take a closer look. We've already attached the palm or wrist rest on there, which is fairly simple. It just pushes in little clips. You have to get a bit of a pull or squeeze them to get them out, but we'll look at that at the bottom in a minute. First thing you notice, obviously, is a wrist strap that says Born for Gaming on there. It's quite nice. One thing I have noticed, it does seem to have pads on the two corners, but nothing in the middle. So what happens when you tap the middle is you get quite a clanky noise, which is probably not too bad if you've got your wrists in the right place, but if you're playing games and whatever and reaching over, you might get that sort of effect potentially. Again, depends on what your disc's made out of. If you've got it on top of a really large mouse mat, you wouldn't notice, but if you've got it on a wood surface, glass surface, you may do. Also, you've got these quick buttons down the side, or macro buttons should we say. You've got G1 all the way down to G6. You've also got macro keys at the top, so M1 all the way to M5. You've also got your media buttons as well, so stop, back, play, forwards on there, and then you can adjust the volume up and down using the wheel, which is nice and tactile. It does move quite smooth, but it does move at little intervals if you wanted it to, so that's pretty good. Change the lighting effects, it's basically hold your function key down, and you've got lots of different symbols on the actual keys over here, so you, depending on which key you press, comes up with different lighting effects, but that's obviously up to you which you prefer. You can also do that through the software as well, which I prefer to do anyway, but again, it is really up to you which way you want to do it. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the top. I suppose you do have their logo there lit up as well in red, and then you've got caps lock and everything on there as well, so that's pretty good. And I'll do a typing test in a few minutes, but just to give you a rough idea what the bottom of it looks like. So on the bottom of the actual keyboard itself, you can see obviously those 4 rubber pads on the corners of the wrist rest, none in the center, and that's why this bit here, especially with this little bit what's hanging down a little bit, sort of taps the desk, unfortunately. The actual keyboard itself does have rubber on the front 2 corners. The back corner does not. There is no rubber stoppers on this back corner at all. You could say it's slightly rubberized on there, but this bit's lower down, so it's going to slide. The back end could potentially slide a little bit, but we'll test that in a second. The feet do come up, and they are sort of rubberized when they are up, so that's not too bad. And then you've got the logo and everything on the bottom as well, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to see on the bottom. On the back of the keyboard, you do have 2 USB ports as well. You can use those as either a USB hub or for powering devices, but bear in mind the cable for the actual keyboard is only USB 2, so don't expect anything miraculous in speeds if you're using it as a hub, but it's better than nothing. The cable itself is roughly 1.5 meters long, and it is braided, so you've got some nice braided cable there, which is always good. It's not too heavy, and it does bend around quite well if you want it to, so there shouldn't be much in the way of problem there. And for typing wise, let's just give you a rough idea. That should give you a rough idea. So it's not very quiet, which it's not going to be with being blue switches. Blue switches are generally quite noisy, but it gives you a rough idea. You can also remove the switches on the keyboard. It does come with a cap remover, which is this thing here. You just basically push it over the caps and then just basically pull up if you get it in right. Hold the keyboard down and you can see the switches there. So just take a couple more off. They are blue switches, and you can see the inside of the cap. You have got the white material cover, and then you've got the black material on top as well, so it's sort of like 2 different plastics inside there, so it's like double layered to a degree. And then you've got the switches itself, so it gives you a good idea. At the moment you can't really see the lighting effects on the keyboard because of the studio lights, but we'll dim those in a second so you can see it on some B-roll. Okay, you should be able to see the RGB effects on the actual keyboard now, so as you can see they look pretty good. I wouldn't say they're necessarily the brightest, because in a bright room, I must admit, they are a little bit hard to see. But if you're in a dark bedroom or something like that, like most gamers generally are, then you'll probably be absolutely fine. You do have a few different options for brightness and changing the effects and so forth. You can obviously turn the lighting effects off, which means that you've got no lighting effects on there, but you can change them between. Let's have a look. You've got color loop on there, so it just basically goes between all the different colors. You've also got, let's have a look, Respire, I think that's called. It's alright, the writing on the actual software is quite small, it doesn't look very good on the UI. You've also got on there Fixed On, so it fixes it on a specific colour, then you can choose which colour you want, and it's full RGB, so you can pretty much pick whatever colour you're wanting. If you notice, the G1 to G6 buttons on the side, as well as the M1 to 5 at the top, and the media buttons will stay red though. There doesn't seem to be, at least from what I can see, an option to change the colouring on those ones. You can also change it between lots of other different things. You've got a wave style, as you can see there, so it's pretty quick, but you can adjust the speed of it as well, so it's slower. So it's really up to you. You've got probably about, I'd say around about 20 presets on here. You've even got retro versions and all sorts on there, so it's really up to you. I think some of the speeds are a bit fast, so you can slow it down if you so wish. And then you've also got brightness options, so you can make it brighter or whatever, depending on whatever you want. You've also got game mode on there as well, which just lights up your W, A, S and D and the arrow keys, which is pretty good. But if you wanted to, you can actually go in the software and click each individual key as well, and you can actually light up those individual keys. As you can see there, I've just lit up J, K, L and I. You can also adjust the colours on those depending on the mode you've got it on as well. So you can choose, let's have a look, have it on pink or whatever. So I'll choose pink and light up these keys at the bottom in pink. So you can really do whatever you want, so you can choose any colour for any key. They're all individual, which is pretty good. The only ones what it doesn't seem to allow me to change at all are the macro ones down the side, media buttons at the top. Otherwise, the keyboard, or the main part of the keyboard, you seem to be able to change all the keys. We'll just have a look at the software itself. Okay, so I'm not doing a screen capture. This is actually looking at it as it is on my laptop, just so you can see in person what it exactly looks like. And as you can see, you've got all your different profiles here. So you've got 3 profiles, you've got a macro editor as well, so you can create a new macro if you wish, which is pretty good. You can choose different profiles, so you can set up different profiles to do different color modes or different macro modes and stuff like that, which is good as well. So it's really up to you, and then you can click on each individual key as well on the keyboard to choose the different colors if you wanted to. It's really up to you. You've got a restore button, which restores it back to default, which is good as well. You can then individually click on each key and set it up as basically a key assignment, a macro, or even a media key if you wanted. So software is not the most straightforward, because in certain modes it won't let you do certain things, but if you turn the light effects off on the menu, which is there, so make sure that's unticked, it will then let you bind the keys to obviously a macro or something along that line if you're wanting to, but otherwise it's pretty good. Software, again, is not the best, probably made by a hardware engineer like a lot of these things are, and they're not always 100%. And again, if you wanted lots of different products, like Marvo products, like a keyboard, the mouse and a headset, and they all come with their own software, you have to install 3 different programs rather than having one program with everything combined inside. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. It's really appreciated you made it all the way to the end. Please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and even click that bell so you get notifications of new videos and live streams. It does help support the channel, and supporting the channel basically means that we can release more content for you, and also better quality content going forward. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.